Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 61st episode of the Triboro Podcast. I am your host, Justin Alonso, as always, joined on the other side of the WNHU studio, Nicholas O'Brien. And I got some breaking news. I'm not sure if you know this, but the New York Yankees are headed to the World Series. And we have lost Nicholas O'Brien. We are now unlocking the door.
I don't want to talk about this.
If you were not watching on YouTube, you just missed Nick walking out of the studio and me almost locking him out.
It's bullshit. It's bullshit.
It is?
It's bullshit.
How?
Cakewalk.
Nope.
Guardians. Royals.
Disagree.
Okay.
Disagree.
Bullshit. Fuck this. I don't want to do this podcast anymore.
Too bad. Too bad. And just because you're saying that, I'm going to really dive deep into all of the numbers that I got.
Okay.
It's one of the episodes where I got the most numbers I've gotten.
Good, because I didn't prepare anything.
Shocker. It's almost like it's Yankees, not Mets.
I know.
Um.
Anyways. I'm doing well. Good. Thanks for asking. How you doing, Justin?
I'm doing good.
That's good.
My anxiety
That's
is
good.
high.
Good.
Very,
Good.
very, very high.
Good.
You wish your anxiety was high.
I do.
You wish you were in my shoes of just shitting your pants every single day. You wish.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I might as well give the news that we were talking about new recording schedule. So for right now,
The plan.
the plan is Queens is not going to
On
happen
hold.
for like a week or two.
Yeah. It's the World Series still going on.
Yeah.
Off-season free agency doesn't start till 5 days after the last out of the World Series.
Yeah. So we'll probably do something right before that starts.
Right. We'll do our season and review, whatever. So for now, Queens is on hold. Yeah.
But yeah, we're planning on after every
Off day.
off day, yeah. So every off day, we're going to upload an episode. So that would be Sunday, Thursday, and then whenever the series ends.
Yeah.
The Thursday one, no idea when that's coming out because I am going to the game Wednesday night and I have no idea when I'm going to be back. So,
We'll see.
baseball.
When we know, you'll
You'll
know.
Yeah. But into the actual thing itself, your injury update brought to you by the Triboro MD. I feel like I've said his name every single episode. Nestor Cortez is, from what I'm seeing, it seems like he's just a lock to make the roster.
Yeah.
Where he literally said that if he, I'm just not, it's not going to be verbatim, but he pretty much said, like, if I pitch in the World Series and get a ring and don't pitch next year, so be it. I love that so much.
I love that quote.
Because another thing, too, is next year is his last year on the contract.
He's a free agent after next year.
So he is willing to risk his walk year to get a ring. I love that so much.
I mean, I feel like a lot of guys would, too.
Mm.
You know, not a lot of times you
But I'm also
are in this position.
looking at it, think of he's just essentially risking generational money, generational wealth to pitch. And I don't think not all guys would do that.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like, I could think of one guy that is a hitter who played on the Royals this year that may not do that. Tommy Pham.
Oh, yeah.
No one mess with my money, or whatever the quote was after he smacked the shit out of Jock Peterson. Yeah, but now what do you think they do for the roster to get Nestor on it?
Let me take a look at this.
Because right now they have 12 pitchers,
Yep.
14 position players.
See, I think you get rid of position player because I'm not saying it was the root cause, but I feel like it kind of bit the Mets in the butt a little bit, taking McNeil over another pitcher. And you look at the bench right now, you don't use half of these guys.
Yeah.
Has Grisham appeared in a game?
No.
Dominguez, I think you said pinch runner once. Twice. Like, if you're not using them, what's the point? I think, honestly, Dominguez is off this roster.
That's what I think, too.
Yeah.
As much as I love Dominguez, it's a thing of the whole reason he's on this roster is the bat because you don't want to see him in the field. So you're essentially just saying he's not going to get a single swing. The only argument you can make is that, say that he pinch runs for Stanton, like call it the 8th inning, then his bat comes back up in the order. You'd rather Dominguez over John Birdie.
Yeah.
So that's like the only real...
But at that point, if you're pinch running, you have a lead, you believe in your pitchers. If it comes to that point, then something went seriously wrong along the way.
But that's kind of like the only argument I could see, and even then I don't think it's that strong of an argument. Like, also another thing, Trent Grisham has just not played. Like, I think you keep Grisham on just because of defense over him.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, it just doesn't...
It doesn't make sense to carry, what's that, five position players on your bench.
Yeah, I think... Because the way they're seeing it is that John Birdie is immediately a pinch runner for Rizzo. Because then he go to first, but they don't trust Birdie defensively. They like playing Oswaldo Cabrera there more. So are you just going to defensive replace Birdie? And then you have 3 guys on the bench after that?
Yeah, which...
So it's such a weird situation. It's so stupid. Like I said it last episode that if Dominguez is only going to be a pinch runner, why is Duke Ellis not on the roster over him?
Right.
And it's just, I don't know. It never made sense to me. And especially, I'm not going to get into it now, but I think there's going to be another fast guy that should be on the bench. But he isn't right now. So, I don't know. I think you either do that or if for whatever reason they want to keep 14 position players, you either get rid of Meza or Stroman.
Yeah.
And I could see an argument for, all 3. Either Dominguez, Stroman, or Meza, because Meza, not really a high leverage guy.
I didn't think he should have been on the roster to begin with.
Who else would you put? That's the only thing.
That's the issue. But I mean, it sucks that Hamilton got hurt. But, Leiter's done a pretty good job for the most part.
He earned his spot on this roster.
Yeah.
Mark Leiter should, if he is not on the World Series roster, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, you have, Cody Petit.
I think that I would almost do a double switch. Of I would do Petit and Nestor for Stroman and Meza. So that way you still keep the 2 lefties. You have whatever that is, 6 righties.
Right.
Whatever. And because that's another thing, Dominguez and Stroman, if they are not playing, they did not get Dominguez is different, but Stroman didn't he didn't even stand up to warm up in the bullpen.
Right.
Why on God's green earth is he on this roster if he's not going to be?
Yeah, it's mop up duty, but if you don't want to be in that position, so it's like you're conceding a roster spot just in case. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm not a fan.
I'm not a fan either, but kind of moving on from that. Game 1 is tomorrow night, Friday at 8:08. You got Garrett Cole versus Jack Flaherty. John Flaherty's the yes announcer that went to St. Joseph Regional High School. We love you, John Flaherty. Jack Flaherty. So, I went very in-depth on the numbers. I'm going to say OPS, but it's not OPS. It's because Baseball Savant didn't have it, it's the expected slugging plus expected weighted on base.
Okay.
So almost expected on OPS.
Okay.
So just know that if you look at a guy and see that he has a different OPS against the guy, that's why. Because I just did expected slugging plus expected weighted on base. And even then, I rounded. So it may be like 10, 20 points off, but the point still stands. Against Garrett Cole, Shohei Ohtani in 21 plate appearances has a 1.05 OPS. Kike Hernandez in 25 plate appearances, 0.95 OPS. I don't know why I said it that way. 950 OPS. Freddie Freeman, 910 and 22 plate appearances, but I would bet a lot of those were when Cole was with Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and also I really don't know how much Freddie's going to play. As much as he says he's going to, we'll see how his ankle holds up.
Mm-hmm. Granted, only one lefty going to be in the starting rotation, so that could also have something to do with it. Mookie Betts in 18 plate appearances, 940, but a handful of them, or a vast majority of them, was when he was with Boston. Same thing with Kike. I am worried about that. I think that I'm going to get more into it later, but I almost have this group of 3 players that I'm calling the AL East boys in Mookie Betts, Kike Hernandez, and Teoscar Hernandez. Those, to me, are the three guys that I'm most worried about. Because Ohtani's going to do his thing.
Yeah.
Freeman may not play. Those are the big three guys that I'm very worried about. Because you look at the rest of the lineup. Like, look, Will Smith, I'm pretty sure he had a really good Game 6.
Yeah,
right?
because they threw Phil Maton. He hit 1 home run, whatever.
But
but for the most part, he has not had a good postseason.
I'm pretty sure since the All-Star break, he's been horrible.
Just
horrific.
God awful. But maybe the Mets woke him up, so sorry in advance.
God damn it. Tommy Edman, he's been swinging a hot bat, but I feel like you could also not pitch around Edman, but you could exploit some of his weaknesses.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'm not going to be as worried about Tommy Edman as I am about Shohei Ohtani, which may bite us in the ass.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But
I think that's kind of what got the Mets into the predicament they got themselves in, because they thought about the same thing. Because why am I going to let Shohei Ohtani beat me? And then there's Tommy Edman hitting cleanup.
That's my thing, too. Don't attack Ohtani, but don't pitch around him.
Yeah, absolutely. You
if Ohtani,
you almost have to attack him.
If Ohtani walks, so be it, but I want everything to be on the corners.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want no fuck you fastballs.
Right, yeah.
I love you, Garrett Cole, but your velo isn't the same as it was in years past. You're not a power pitcher anymore. No fuck you fastballs. Carlos Rodon, he's probably going to do it, but...
You can almost get away with it, lefty, maybe.
Because he also... I think at this point, for starters, it's either him or Heel that has the best fastball on the staff.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably lean a little bit more towards Heel. Control, completely different. That's Garrett Cole miles away, but
I'll fact check you on that just because.
What? Just like the stuff loss. If I had to bet, I would say Heel.
I'm more looking at run value, but still.
I'd say Heel. Well, run value may be different because Heel didn't pitch as much. Well, didn't pitch as much. Garrett Cole also didn't pitch as much. Because run value is
Luke Weaver has the best fastball by run value on the team, but regardless, Rodon does have the better out of the two.
How much?
By 3 runs, I guess if you want to call it.
What's the difference?
5 run value. Compare that to a 1, so 4. Never mind, I was looking at the wrong guy.
Interesting.
So 4-point difference.
I'm curious how much that is. How many more innings Rodon's through, but I don't think it would be that big.
I mean, it's based off of pitches. Rodon's thrown 1,500 fastballs. Heel has thrown 1,300. So it's a 200 pitch difference.
I'm kind of shocked that it's that different. Whatever. Then on the other side, Jack Flaherty. This one is... There's 2 guys that you need to have a big game, but I think a lot of these numbers are from when he was with St. Louis. Some of them could have been, especially for the first guy, could have been when he was with the Orioles. Anthony Rizzo. In 28 plate appearances, he has a 1350 OPS against Jack Flaherty. And he's been swinging a hot bat. Juan Soto in 14 plate appearances has an 1100 OPS. Alex Verdugo in 5 has a 900. Gleyber Torres in 3 has a 1200. A lot of the sample sizes get so small, so I tried to avoid them.
Yeah.
But that's another thing where he's been very up and down. Or didn't he go 7 scoreless?
He went 7 scoreless in game 1, but that's also... I'm not discrediting Flaherty, but the Mets kind of helped him out a little by expanding the zone. But then he got absolutely lit up in
Was
game
not
5.
the same pitcher.
Not at all.
So...
But to the Mets' credit, it's because they were laying off a lot of the pitches they were swinging at in game 1. And yes, his velo was down as well, so that helps for the Mets.
Which I think helps the Yankees a lot more, just because you consider the Yankees are... No, it's not arguable, because I'm pretty sure they have the highest walk percentage. So they're the most patient team in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that definitely does help. Because,
Absolutely.
correct me if I'm wrong, but this Dodger staff relies a lot on chasing.
I would say so.
I'd say Yamamoto, that's
so.
kind of like a big thing with him, where he kind of relies on you chasing out of the zone to strike out.
No, let's look at that. Let's see. Jack Flaherty has a 72 percentile chase percentage. Yamamoto, Yoshi, has a 82 percentile chase percentage.
Then Walker Buehler, I don't think he really...
Yeah, Buehler is not really if I'm going to look at it, but probably not a good...
I also don't think it's fair to, kind of evaluate him on that.
9 percentile, so... I don't know what you're gonna get with Bueller. Bueller's the wild card, but
Yeah.
go on.
Yeah, I don't. You need Garrett Cole. I don't see if Garrett Cole has an ace performance. That's insane. There's a stat I saw that Garrett. Would you believe me if I told you Garrett Cole is one of the best postseason pitchers of all time?
I did see that.
You saw that
I did see that.
With pitchers with 20 or more postseason starts, he is one of 4 pitchers to have a sub-3 ERA, and that's sitting at a 2.98. So he legitimately is one of the best postseason pitchers of all time. The only thing that I worry about is I've said it ad nauseum, but since come back from the injury, he hasn't been 100%. Part of that could be age. Part of that could just be he wasn't not a full spring training, not this, not that. But it's the goddamn World Series. No more excuses.
Yeah.
Garrett Cole's either going to go 7, 1 run, 10 strikeouts, or he's going to give you what he's given you in the 4 2/3, 2-3 runs. You need that performance because you have no idea what's going to happen with Jack Flaherty.
Yeah.
All that being said, I sound pretty negative. I'm very confident in game 1. I just think that you have a much better pitching matchup for the Yankees. You have a lot of guys that love playing against the Dodgers, especially in California. We talked about that. Was it on the radio or was it?
On the radio.
It was on the radio. You should listen at Triboro Sports Show. If you want to listen, you can listen to it on Apple Music or Spotify if you missed it.
Apple Podcast.
Damn it. Whatever. But yeah, I'm very confident in game 1 for the Yankees. Moving on to game 2. Carlos Rodon versus Yamamoto.
Yoshinobu.
I'm not saying that.
It's
Yoshinobu.
There you go.
Nobu? Daredevil? No, but Rodon against the Dodgers hitters. Not a lot of a sample size. The biggest sample size is 10 at-bats from Chris Taylor. So it's like Chris Taylor has a 1,000 OPS. But in those small sample sizes, not good. Freddie Freeman, 9 plate appearances, 1,100 OPS. Shohei Ohtani in 6, 1,800. Kike Hernandez, 2,000. Tommy Edman in 6 plate appearances, 1,250.
Well, not a great matchup. And the Dodgers are the best team hitting-wise against lefties. So that's also into perspective.
I will say, Rodon has looked a lot better.
Definitely.
Than when he's faced those guys before. So I will give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'm sure some of that was when he was with the Giants. Probably like a decent amount of those numbers are from that time.
Yeah.
Especially against Chris Taylor.
Yeah, and to be fair, that's probably when he was at his best.
But he's a different pitcher than he was then.
He's a worse pitcher. But regardless.
But it could be just one of those things where the stuff is different.
Mm-hmm.
Like different repertoire,
yeah,
different
it comes
kind
out
of
of his hand
sequences.
different.
So it's a different thing where even if he may have been better, they hit him better then because it fit more into them.
Yeah.
But Yoshinobu Yamamoto. 1 start versus the Yankees, 7 innings, 2 hits, 0 runs. I said this on the radio. I went on a whole rant about this. Throw that out the window. The Yankees lineup then was Anthony Volpe, Alex Verdugo, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, Anthony Rizzo, Gleyber Torres, DJ LeMahieu, Trent Grisham, Jose Trevino. 3 starters are not in that lineup in Juan Soto, Jazz, and Wells. Your leadoff batter is now batting 7th. Your 2-hole hitter is now batting 9th. Gleyber Torres, your leadoff hitter, is batting 6th. So this is a much different Yankee team than when Yamamoto last faced them. And that was also pre-injury Yamamoto, too.
Yeah.
Which he has been very up and down since that injury. So realistically, I think you could just throw that start out the window. I don't think that it really says much about the Yankees versus Yamamoto or Yamamoto versus the Yankees.
That's fair.
But I said on the radio, I think they lose this game. I don't think it's going to be a thing of Rodon getting shelled. I just think it's going to be a thing of it's going to be very close. And then I think it's very hard to win 2 games in LA back-to-back.
Absolutely.
So I think that's more what it is, that I think it's very hard to say that they win 2 in LA.
Your job as the road team is just take 1. That's all you need. Just take the one, go back home, split, and then take it from there.
To the Yankees' credit, they are the best road team in baseball. So if any team could do it, you'd think it'd be the Yankees, especially because you have two good pitching matchups, at least for the offense versus their pitching. So I could see a world where they come back 2-0, but I wouldn't
bet on it.
I wouldn't bet on it. I wouldn't expect it. I think it's going to be what do you think?
I think the split is the most obvious answer. It's tough from both teams' perspective. Again, these are the two best teams in baseball, both 1 seeds of their respective leagues.
Banana good matchup.
So, I think definitely pitching advantage goes towards the Yankees in Game 1, Dodgers Game 2. It's going to come down to the big guys, obviously. I think Aaron Judge and obviously Juan Soto match up pretty well against Flaherty and Yamamoto. Been looking at just kind of like their pitch arsenals and the way they match up with that. It's going to come down to those guys. And what the Yankees need to do is, because although with the rest day on Sunday, because they play Monday, right?
Sunday, correct.
Get the starters out early. Keep it close. Get them out early. Like five innings, 6 innings max is what you want to see from the Dodgers starters. Because you keep it close, you get them out early, the Dodgers need to use their high leverage relievers. Game 3 is most likely going to be a bullpen game. So at the very least, if you're splitting, you also need to at least see 1 or 2 of those high leverage relievers. You need to get Trinan in. You need to get Evan Phillips in. You got to see them once or twice. I think that's the biggest thing.
I'm going to get more into that soon, but I really appreciate you mentioning pitch arsenal, because there's something I didn't write down that I really wanted to talk about, but I didn't. Garrett Cole, scrap the sinker. Just scrap it.
Ooh.
Because it's an experimental pitch. It looked good against Cleveland. I'm not saying it didn't, but the Dodgers have the best expected weighted on base against sinkers in baseball. So, yeah.
Yeah, let's not do that.
So that's the thing of just scrap it. Let's not fuck around with it. It's a new pitch. They're the best in baseball against that pitch. Just don't. Fifth pitch.
Yeah.
It's your fifth pitch.
Yeah.
5th or 6th pitch.
You don't want to get beat on your 6th, 5th best pitch. This doesn't make sense.
So just for now, maybe 1 or 2, whatever. But I can't have 12 sinkers. That's a little. I said last week that I wouldn't mind if he threw it a little bit. Now looking at the numbers, no. Just don't.
Don't even try it.
Another thing, too, is I don't know where exactly they rank, because I saw it on Twitter, and I tried finding the tweet, but I can't find it. But they're also one of the worst teams in baseball against 95-plus mile-an-hour fastballs.
Interesting.
So it was either that or like a specific spot with the fastball, but one of the worst teams against the fastball, especially like the heat. So that's another thing. You got 3, maybe 4 guys that are going to be averaging over 95 with their fastballs.
A lot of the guys, especially in kind of like the mid to bottom of the order, don't do too well against fastballs. Kike Hernandez, -13 run value against fastballs. Tommy Edman, -1. Teoscar Hernandez, -1. Will Smith, 2. Freddie Freeman, 2. The only guy you really got to worry about throwing fastballs to is Shohei. Yeah. Because he has a 24 run value against fastballs. Max Muncy is second on the Dodgers with 7.
Ohtani's going to have a good run value against everything, though.
Yeah, exactly. But I think you could definitely beat that middle to lower end of the order.
Everyone except Ohtani.
Essentially.
Maybe Betts, you could make an argument for.
Yeah, Betts is third on team with a 6 run value. But still, he has a 381 expected weighted on base. But everyone else, kind of middling. That you can definitely get away with it. Yeah,
so that's a big thing that I want to see. Against Ohtani, different story. Obviously, like, definitely throw more off speed, but everyone else, I need to see fastball heavy. And granted, for the Yankees, I think that benefits them because their 4 starters, I feel like their best pitches are their fastballs.
Yeah.
Clark, I'd be curious on that, if it's more like his knuckle curve versus like his fastball, but I know everyone else, like, their fastball is their go-to pitch. Luis Hill, you can make an argument for the changeup, but the changeup plays obviously off the fastball. So if you fool them with the fastball, changeup's going to be better.
Yeah.
So I really want to see that. I want to see a very fastball heavy just approach from the Yankee starters specifically because they all throw over 95.
Yeah. Plus, you just want to get ahead. Again, obviously, you can look at the 42 walks the Mets gave up, but they didn't attack hitters. They were scared to pitch around some of them. They were scared to pitch some of them, so they pitched around them. Get ahead. Get in a pitcher's count. Fastball is the way to do it.
And I also think the Mets almost had to do that because they didn't have as much talent as the Yankees starting rotation. So use your talent that you have.
Mm-hmm.
One of my notes is, I'll kind of jump ahead a little bit. You are in the World Series for a reason. Do not be afraid to pitch to that top of the order. That's just, you're here for a reason. A big reason of that, you could say the clutch hitting and the timely hitting. Big reason of that is the pitching. Do not be afraid to pitch them. But kind of jumping around a little bit, going to the bullpen. So these are kind of, if I did every individual hitter versus every individual bullpen arm, we would be here for 3 hours. So instead what I did was just each bullpen arm versus the current Yankees just team. Daniel Hudson in 25 plate appearances has a 940 expected OPS. Evan Phillips in 29 plate appearances, 820. Blake Trinan in 45, 830. But has he changed much since Oakland?
I wouldn't say so.
I feel like it's always been a thing with him of when he's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's never a thing of like, oh, he completely changed up his pitch repertoire.
Yeah, when was the last in Oakland? 19?
19, 20?
Yeah.
Something like that. But
yeah, no, he's about the same guy. Throws the same pitches, got rid of the slider, has a sweeper. So that's just baseball in general. So
Ryan Brazier, 48 plate appearances, 770 OPS. But then I said there were 4 guys that petrify me. Michael Kopech, 32 plate appearances, 500 OPS. I am scared shitless of Michael Kopech.
Yeah. The thing with him is
control.
Yeah. If they can be patient and he doesn't have it, then they have him right where they want him.
Yeah. That's definitely a big thing of just if. I think overall, that's just how you're going to have to do it. Like, the Dodgers pitchers are disgusting. You have to work the count against them.
Yeah.
I feel like the Yankees, they have like this big philosophy of whenever they go against a disgusting pitcher that they are very aggressive early in the count because they don't want to risk getting behind in the count. But at the same time, if you're very aggressive early in the count, you're essentially guaranteeing that you're going to be behind in the count.
Yeah.
So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy in that way. So I really want to see patience, especially against guys like Kopech or Trinan, where when they don't have it, they can still strike you out because their stuff is so disgusting, but you're almost going to have to get out for them.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense, where it's just, you're almost going to have to just swing out of your shoes. I'm looking at you, Jazz. So, yeah. But then looking at the Yankees pen versus Dodgers hitters, Clay Holmes, which I'm very surprised about this. 51 plate appearances, 600 expected OPS. And a lot of that, I'd bet, was when he was with Pittsburgh when he wasn't nearly the same pitcher.
Right.
So, Luke Weaver in 110, 686, which I think is very impressive to me. Because
not good.
Didn't he have like the worst ERA for a reliever last year? Something like crazy like that. And even then, the only guy, like I was looking at it, I think there were some guys that are about league average against him. Max Muncy, 22 plate appearances at 1250 expected OPS against him. Yeah. So outside of Max Muncy, he does very well against Dodgers lineup. Mark Leiter, 46 plate appearances, 720. Tim Hill, 63 plate appearances, 750. A lot of the righties kill him. Mookie Betts has insane numbers against him. Specifically, I think there's another. I think Freeman has really good numbers. I think it was either Teoscar or Will Smith that have really good numbers against Tim Hill.
I would bet Teoscar.
Yeah. I feel it may have been both. But then the last guy, Tommy Kahnle, 38 plate appearances, 1,100. But 28 of those are from a combination of Teoscar, Kevin Kiermaier, and Mookie Betts. So that's just another AL East thing, I think, where a lot of the AL East guys kind of kill a lot of... I hate the Dodgers because the only guys they got from the AL East are guys that killed the Yankees. That is the annoying thing.
They got them for this moment.
They got they traded for Mookie Betts, shits down the Yankees' throats. Teoscar Hernandez is our kryptonite. Kike Hernandez is annoying as shit. No. Kike Hernandez is annoying. Kevin Kiermaier is annoying as shit. I don't understand him.
I don't even know if he's gonna make the roster, so
He
you
may
might,
not-
you might,
Yeah,
you might be able to dodge that bullet.
but still, I don't think so either. I just figured it was worth mentioning. But do you think they almost put him on the roster just because he has such good numbers on the Yankees?
I think when it comes to playoffs, I understand looking at career numbers and things like that, but you just got to go with who's hitting.
Okay.
Like, I don't think Kiermaier finds his way over anybody in this Dodgers lineup.
Not in the lineup, but as like a defensive replacement, like a fourth outfielder.
Maybe.
Okay. Who knows? That'll be definitely something to kind of just pay attention to. But one of the big things that we've talked about a lot is that reliever parity or the familiarity effect, where third time through the lineup, obviously numbers are going to go up. You look at 2016 to 2023, I'm looking at a bar graph, so I don't have the exact numbers, but first time through the order was about 670 OPS, second time through the order was about 680, third time through the order was about 830. But that was 2016 and 2023. Interesting enough, you almost see an exact opposite of that in 2024. The first time through the order, it's about 700. So it's a little bit higher than it was in the other years. Second time through the order, 600. Third time through the order, about 6, call it 70.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know why
Yeah.
that is. It's a trend that all postseason that people have just been keeping track of, because you've seen a lot more relievers be used third, fourth time through to a batter,
Yeah.
but the OPS is lower.
It's probably just a product of just how good relievers are this year. I think a lot of the final teams except for the Mets, had some of the best bullpens. Yankees.
I think the final
Guardians,
take
obviously.
out the Mets. I think the final three teams had the three best bullpens in baseball.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked.
So, I feel like a little bit is they didn't have as much information on what guys hit well against. So I think that could be part of it, where it's just they are a lot more specialized, and we know this lane of the lineup is really bad against changeups, so we're going to throw this guy against him. We're going to throw Tommy Kahnle against him, because Tommy Kahnle only knows how to throw fucking changeups.
Right.
So I think that could be another thing of it, just more data kind of doing it, and more...
Yeah.
I think a lot
Matchups.
more thing with relievers, too, is they're becoming a lot more specialized with pitches,
Yeah.
where they know Luke Weaver, he knows his best pitch is his fastball, so he's going to spam the hell out of his fastball. And if you put him in a lane against reliever or against hitters that don't hit the fastball well, it's going to have good numbers. So, yeah. But
Yeah, just to further the point, again, excluding the Mets, the Cleveland, Dodgers, and Yankees all finished top 6, Yankees being 6 in bullpen ERA in the regular season.
and even then, I would argue that the Yankees bullpen is pitched a lot better.
Down the stretch,
Down the
definitely.
stretch,
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
like September to the playoffs. So, because it took until game 2 on a solo shot by Jose Ramirez in the 9th inning for the Yankees to allow a run in the postseason from their bullpen.
Right.
So, take that for what you will. But my keys to victory. I said already, don't be scared to pitch top of the order. You made it to the World Series for a goddamn reason. Act like it. Don't let the starters pitch more than 4 innings. That's kind of where my thing is, where if you can make them get 15 outs from their bullpen every day, and then make them get 27 outs from their bullpen on the bullpen day,
games, yeah.
you're going to see those guys so many times. Granted, like, this only shows the chart I just said through third time through the order. What's fourth, fifth time through the order?
Right.
You know what I mean? So I would be 4 innings. No, obviously if a guy goes 4 2/3, whatever, you're not complaining about that. But if a guy goes 5, 6, 7 innings, I don't see them winning that game for either side. I think that if either team gets a starter that goes 6-7 innings, I don't see that team winning
Oh, absolutely.
or losing.
Yeah, I feel you can get away if a starter going 5 innings. Like if a starter goes 5, I'm not like up in arms. But definitely by the 5th inning, you want them out again, so you can see that bullpen, especially if the game is close. Like obviously, if it's a blowout in either favor, they're not going to use the top guys.
Yeah.
But if it's a 3-2 run game, the Dodgers are going to need to use their top guys, which they want to save for the bullpen game. Can't do that if you need to use them in games 1 and 2.
And even then, worst case scenario, you at least get at bats against those guys.
Right.
You at least get more familiar with their stuff.
Right.
So even if you lose the game, you don't hit them, you at least get that. That can obviously, if it's game 7, completely different story. But if it's game 1, 2, you at least get that familiarity for bigger spots later in the game or later in the series.
Absolutely. You got to play the long game at times.
Yeah. But my last, or I have 2 more, but my second to last one is if Freddie Freeman is playing and he's not 100%, which I doubt he is.
He's not.
And I said this on the radio.
He's not.
Bunt on him. Please, for the love of God. I'm not saying I want Aaron Judge bunting. That is not what I'm saying whatsoever. But there's 5 guys that I wrote down that I think would be just great for it. Or the last one's a stretch, but Anthony Volpe. That's just the type of hitter he is. He can push down a bunt. He's been hitting. He's been getting on base. He's been patient. But even then, it's walks, a lot of singles. I think he had 1 or 2 doubles. But a bunt single is as good as a single. It's going to show up in the box score as the same thing. You're getting on base, steal, get to second, whatever. Alex Verdugo. He's not been producing at the bottom of the order. He's pretty solid. Again, those bunts down. Oswaldo Cabrera. That's the type of hitter he is. John Birdie, he got the speed. And then Jazz is kind of bunt danced a little bit. I don't know how good of a bunter he is. You haven't really seen it. But he's got the speed. So hopefully he at least knows a little bit how to bunt.
You would hope.
But, and it's so weird saying bunt in 2024 World Series. But if Freddie Freeman cannot run to a baseball, why not do it?
Yeah.
Especially kind of Volpe and Birdie are kind of like the 2 big guys that I'm looking at.
You just got to get it, what's it called? You just got to hope you get it past the pitcher.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
Which I feel like Volpe's done. Like, he's been a pretty solid bunter when he does. He hasn't really done it this year, but when he does, it's good.
Yeah.
But
Juan Soto led the team in bunt hits in the regular season.
I pulled that yesterday without even seeing the stats. I did say Juan Soto is a very sneaky good bunter, and he's done it this season.
Yeah.
How many? 5?
4.
Okay. But he's not. Don't.
Yeah.
Don't.
You're not.
Like, you do that in the regular season because the regular season, Juan Soto is your second best hitter, and he was your best hitter in the ALCS. I'll stand by that. So you're not having a bunch. No. I don't care if he gets to first base. No.
Okay.
Obviously, the goal is to get on base with him. But if you're telling me guaranteed single or a chance at an extra base hit and driving runs, I'm taking that chance at an extra base hit. So that's just the way I see it, especially with the way Glaber's been swinging the bat. He's most likely going to be on first base at this rate. So
Aaron Judge is third on the team with 10 infield hits.
Really?
Yes.
It's kind of funny. Yeah, that's actually really funny. That it'd be so much funnier if like Stan was in there too. So like the 3 guys that are like absolutely just mash the ball.
Dead last. 4. Which I'm shocked he has 4.
I'm shocked he has 4. What?
Yeah.
According to Bob Costas, he has polio and needs to be euthanized.
Yes.
But
Anyways.
yeah. And then the last thing that I want to talk about for the Yankees. You're the underdog. The big, bad New York Yankees are being seen as the underdog. I'm not saying that no one expects us to win. No, I'm not saying that at all. But we all know that MLB clearly wants the Dodgers to win. For Shohei, for this, for that. Fuck them. That's all I got to say. You made it to the goddamn World Series. You were the number 1 seed. And it almost feels like MLB doesn't give a shit about you. Oh, yeah? We're going to show you why we made the goddamn World Series. We're going to show you why we had 2 series that weren't even competitive. And you could say how bad the teams were, but that's just because the Yankees were a better team. Shocker, you're the number 1 seed. You're going to be a better team than those 2 teams. you're better. I think that you have a lot of very good things that fit into your favor. Obviously, the Dodgers are going to do it too. They're a damn good team. I think these are the two best teams in baseball. So, obviously, they're going to be incredible. They're going to have strengths. You're going to have strengths too. Win this goddamn series. I said it on the radio. I've been saying it. Yankees in 6. That's my prediction. I don't see a world where it doesn't go back to LA.
Yeah, no way.
I don't see how it just doesn't go back to LA.
No way.
Obviously,
That'd be cool.
I'm going to game 5. And if they want to win in 5 and I get to see them celebrate on the field,
That'd be something else.
I am not complaining whatsoever. But, yeah. The last thing I wanted to say was, you face this Dodgers team. Where did the Mets go wrong? And what can the Yankees not do if they want to win this series?
Well, obviously, the biggest thing is don't walk 42 batters.
In 6 games.
In 6 games. Again, attack. Obviously, you're going to get beat. This is a very good, deep lineup.
Deepest lineup in baseball.
Kike Hernandez is usually 7, 8, 9, and he's one of the best postseason hitters. That just goes to show how this team hits. But, again, attack. Get ahead. We talked about the fastball, how the Dodgers aren't the best against 95 plus. Throw a fastball, get ahead, get a count in your favor, and then make them expand the zone. Don't nip. Don't try to paint the corners. Get ahead, attack hitters, because you have a lot of guys that chase. Teoscar Hernandez, one of the bigger chasers.
He's a free swinger.
Yeah, free swinger. But, if you're ahead, you can get guys to chase who normally won't chase. So from the pitching side, that's it. Get ahead, make them expand the zone. Don't expand it for them. For the hitters, very similar, just don't expand the zone.
The opposite.
Yeah, don't expand the zone. Jack Flaherty pitched an excellent game 1. The Mets fed into his game plan, if you want to call it. It's slider, curveball away to right-handers, fastball in.
To lefties.
To righties.
Okay.
But there was only Nimmo as a lefty, but that's besides the point. Don't expand the zone. That's where he wants it. That's where he has success, is when you're swinging at that curveball, at that slider out of the zone. If you look at his, on Baseball Savant, you can look at kind of the heat map of where he throws the pitches. Sliders down and away, knuckle curves down and away. Changeup is away from lefties. He doesn't really throw it against righties. And then he has a sinker every now and again, which he throws down. Don't expand the zone. Be patient. Take your walks. For Yamamoto, he's a guy who his command can sometimes get away from him. Be patient. And just, if you're going to make an out, work the at-bat. Don't, swing first pitch unless you get a meatball. Work the count, run up their pitch count, get them out, 5 innings, whatever. Get an eye on those high leverage guys. You want to see, Blake Trinan, Michael Kopech, Evan Phillips in game 1 or 2, if not both. You can't expand the zone. A lot of these Dodgers rely on expanding the zone through it's a lot of the breaking stuff, obviously. Curveballs, sliders, sweepers, you call it. Don't expand the zone. Work the counts. Make the starters work. See the high leverage guys. That was the biggest thing. Because obviously the Mets, they walked everyone. They nipped around the corners. They didn't get the calls, whatever. And then you're just allowing a very good team more opportunities to score. So that's really all I got as a message. Can't really think of anything else. Because the steals weren't much of an issue. Shohei didn't really steal.
When he didn't he get thrown out?
Yeah, I think from what I remember, he tried to steal once, and Alvarez, and that was game 1, I think, and Alvarez threw him out. So I don't know. And also take advantage of the bullpen game. Work the relievers. a lot of them aren't going to go 2 innings. If anything, they
1 or 2 are going to go 2 innings.
Exactly.
But that's just because they quite physically have to, or else they can't do anything.
Right. So take advantage of the bullpen games. The Mets did in Game 2, not so much in Game 6. And just clutch hitting, obviously. When you have opportunities, don't waste them because they're not going to come a lot. So I think that's all I got.
I think most of that message for the hitters was just almost directly just directed at 2
Jazz.
particular hitters in Jazz and Wells. But one thing I forgot to mention was, do you think that they start Oswaldo Cabrera at third base? Even if it's just for a game 1 or game 2. Just based off matchups, based off things. Do you think Oswaldo in LA gets a start at third base?
Maybe 1 game.
Maybe 1 game?
Maybe Game 2. I don't see him. So I'm trying to look.
I will say Jazz does have a home run off Yamamoto.
He does. Oh, you know what? I think I did.
In his career, he does have one. He's one of the few guys that actually had plate appearances outside of that game.
Right,
Well, obviously, he
right.
didn't play in that game because he wasn't on the Yankees.
Yeah.
So,
I think he gets into a game, but maybe not Game 1. Because I think Flaherty is worse against lefties, if I'm not wrong. Well, he would be
Oswaldo.
he would be batting left-handers, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, maybe Game 2. I don't see it Game 1.
You don't see a game 1?
I think Game 1 is gonna kind of serve as a barometer, see if the off days helped out Jazz. If he looks as bad as he did in the DS and CS, then
Goodbye.
Yeah, basically. So I think this is not his last chance, but if he has a bad game, Game 1, I think you're gonna see him sparingly.
I definitely would agree with that. I would not be shocked if Oswaldo would kind of just not really play that much, but if Jazz looks horrible if he does. It sucks that Yamamoto's Game 2, because I'd much rather it be Yamamoto Game 1 just because Jazz at least has the history against him, and then if Jazz doesn't look good against him, then you do that. But who cares? Oswaldo Bonds is clutch. He's him. We love Oswaldo Bonds on the Triboro Podcast, but that's realistically all I got. You got to win one of these 2 games.
Yeah.
You have to. I think you got to win that cold
You
game.
gotta split. Exactly. You have the pitching advantage in Game 1. Take Game 1. If you, what's it called? It puts you in a better position because now
You're playing with house money.
Right, because the split obviously is ideal, but you win Game 1. Now the Dodgers are like, all right, we need to go back to New York at least even. So they might not press, but they're going to be a little on their toes. They want to win Game 2. So
Probably going to be more aggressive pulling Yamamoto.
right, if Yamamoto doesn't look good in 3-4 innings, he's out. Right, and then yes, they have the day off, but Game 3 again is most likely going to be a bullpen game.
So if they call it 27 outs from their starters in Game 1 and 2, and then they got to do a bullpen game in Game 3, that's horrible.
Yeah, that's
horrible. And then
advantage Yankees.
Then you got Game 4. You got Walker Buehler, who's been
who knows
calling him a bag of mixed goods is very generous.
Yeah, he was god awful against the Padres. He looked exceptional against the Mets. So who knows what you're
Blame
gonna
it
get?
on the wind.
Yeah, but yeah, just I'm not saying it's your best shot, but Game 1 is the game you need to take almost. Obviously, because Game 1, whatever. But still, the matchup is there for you to take.
I definitely agree with that. I got nothing else unless you had anything else to say, and if not, take us away.
Yeah, not really. I hate it. I hope there's a sinkhole somewhere, but should be entertaining series. As a third-party watcher, we're already at the World Series. It's already October. Crazy.
It's 90
Crazy.
degrees out.
Yeah, exactly. It's horrible. But 8 o'clock starts through and through on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Should be fun. Hopefully. Again, third-party watcher, so I'll enjoy it. Justin will be stressing. But with that being said, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe to us on YouTube so you never miss an episode. Follow us on Spotify to listen so you never miss it there. Follow us on our social media accounts at Triboro Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. That's everything.
Did you say YouTube?
I said subscribe to YouTube.
Just say YouTube.
If you love to hear more of us, listen to us on Wednesdays from 6 to 8 p.m. on 88.7 WNHU.org or on 88.7 on your FM dial if you're in the Connecticut area.
Which, if you are, I feel bad for you.
But yeah, links to the description. We will see you Sunday, right?
Sunday.
Sunday. So hopefully with the Yankee split, but we will see.
Please, God.
So again, thank you guys for listening. Thanks you guys for watching. We will see you in the next episode.